coming in on Slido. I'm keeping an eye on them up here, and after all of the panelists have spoken, we can have a chance to put some of those questions to our speakers. Passing next to Sheng Xue, who is an award-winning author, journalist, and a leading voice in the fight against CCP tyranny and for global democracy. She's going to speak on resisting authoritarian influence and from a Chinese freedom activist perspective on bringing Xi Jinping to the International Criminal Court. So, Sheng, about 5 minutes, over to you.
Better, to stand up. For people, it's easy to see.
You can feel free to stand here.
So, what would you like me to start?
If you wanted to give, let's say, how did you get here today? And how did you find yourself in Canada? And why? What's the kind of message behind that journey that you wanted to share with the attendees?
I came to Canada from Beijing right after the Tiananmen massacre. Probably many of you are aware of that. That was 35 years ago, and I landed here on August 20th, 1989. But soon after, I found out the Chinese Communist Party's power, their people, their money, their network, their business, and education, and even media, everything was here already. Where I escaped, from China to a free land, and I thought that I was going to be safe, but I said, oh no. I was receiving threatening, insulting, and all kinds of attack. Very soon after, I started to be part of the Overseas Chinese Democracy Movement, early in 1990. But it didn't stop me. Why? I got the desire and the ideal to do something to change the situation in China and to end the Chinese communist regime when I was about 13. Don't laugh. If you look back to your life, you will find out you had a pair of bright eyes to see the world around you. You will find truth at a very young age. And I saw sadness, hopeless, slavery, crying, and insulting, and bullying, and killing, persecution everywhere in China. So that must be something wrong. And I found out that was because of the political system was the communist tyranny. So I was having the idea, I wanted to do something to make change. So since I am in Canada, I know that I have a much chance than I was in China because I was part of the Tiananmen protest, and we tried to, at the night of June 3rd, I was on street and tried to block the military to Tiananmen Square. Of course, people's body cannot stop tanks. And 11 students were crushed by tank on Chang'an Boulevard. So probably thousands, even 10,000 people were killed during the Tiananmen massacre. And I escaped to Canada. I know that I'm very lucky and a survivor from the massacre. Not only that massacre, a series of massacres that the Chinese government launched as soon as it took in power. Tens of the movement, everyone means to kill people who has ideas, who has the knowledge and who has the sense of knowledge and logical and whatever you have, or you have money, you have land, you have a house, you are old enemy to the state. So I tried my best here, but not easy, really tough. For example, for a few examples, I was invited to a high school in Ontario, and they wanted to hire me as the coach for their human rights course. But a few days after, I received a phone call from PEN Canada, because PEN Canada introduced me. They said, oh, sorry, the school returned you back. I said, why? They said they received complaints from their Chinese students and their parents. They said they don't want their kids in Canada to listen to someone escaped from China to talk about human rights about China. I said, okay. Those people, they could come to Canada to study in high school in Canada, must be either the kids from the officials or from the rich families, and they persecute people in China, and they don't want people to talk about human rights in Canada, and they win. And I was hired by a college with UBC, 2006, long time ago. And I was selected from 10 writers to be the writer in residence with the college. Then the professor broke. I can't tell his name. And he called PEN Canada. Philip Adams received a phone call, and the professor said, Sheng Xue is an activist. Adam said, yes, she is, and also she's a good writer. And the professor said, oh no, we cannot have her. We don't want to anger the Chinese government. I was returned. Another situation here, probably some of you aware of that, especially when our government being the friend of Chinese tyranny, we have no room to do something, anything. And also, if you know that it's about 2 million Chinese in Canada, it's a large amount of people, it's a big community, but if you count how many Chinese people they dare to stand up to fight against to the Chinese Communist Party, maybe you can count until 100, maybe not. And hopefully the situation has been changed a little bit, but at the same time, the situation in the world is getting worse. If you are satisfied with the current situation in the world, yes, congratulations. You will soon to find the entrance to the hill. If not, better do something, because the trend from the communists and the terrorists will step very, very I'm trying to find a word. Okay. To my study, fascism and the communism and the terrorism are the three cancers of our human development. And the fascism is not very active, but the communism and the terrorism combined together being so active and is at every corner of the world, especially in the democratic countries. Look at our election from 2019 and 2021, and the Chinese communists, they try to buy our candidates. It was a shame because they used 250,000. They wanted to buy how many? 41. That was a shame because for the Chinese officials, when they are corrupt, they like to have billions of dollars. And but we still don't know the whole truth, and we still don't know how deep, how influence to our political system and our economic system and our education, our media, everything. Of course, every community. So, what we can do here, we need to find out. One way, I always believe that because communism, terrorism, and any force of them to try to destroy our freedom, our democracy, and our rule of law, and our human rights, they are working very closely and very actively in Canada, in most democratic countries. We need to, we have to, we must to unite. We will have no chance to win the battle if we work, if we act alone. So that is why we are here. We have people from 15 countries. That's not enough. We need to have a bigger, stronger alliance to stay in solidarity, to fight against communism and terrorism together. Thank you.
If I could just tease one question out of you, kind of similar to what I threw to Casey earlier, in that kind of more pragmatic sense. You spoke there about how we kind of need to rally around the opposition to these forces in the world. What strategies do you think, not just necessarily in Canada, I know that's where you've done a lot of your work, but whether it's in Western democracies or other countries around the world, what strategies do you think these nations or even civil society groups or individuals should take to not necessarily just support you in your fight, but also those individuals, whether it's back in China or in other nations around the world?
If you ask me what I'm doing, I'm a poet, a writer, an editor, a commentator, and even actor. I do all kind of things. Why is that? Because I want to find a way to debate, in a better way to the communism. But still, I didn't find the best way. But right now, I am working on a project called Big China Tribunal. It's supported by the cinema forties, and it's going to be held by the Court of Citizens of the World to have a trial on Xi Jinping, even though the court won't have the ability to arrest Xi Jinping. No one has. But this is very meaningful because never ever international organization or any platform could do this before. So the trial is going to be in The Hague in April or maybe May next year, and I am leading the preparation work, the team, and so of course we need support. We need huge support. If you can please spread the information or to give us real support, please contact me. And how to help? I was very moved by your speech, and I do believe that love is the most powerful weapon, against hate. I was thinking, but China has so-called 1.4 billion people. Let me see, it's about 1 billion adults. I am thinking of them. Most of the people in China, they have lost the ability to love. And they have lost ability to be angry because they have no way, no room, no any method, to use love or even to be angry because it's not a lot. So what we can do for this kind of situation is about this Me Too. So I think we need to have much more stronger international collaboration to do some real work, not only to help for the human rights situation, because when we help one, the tyranny could persecute 10,000. If we can't help 10,000, they could persecute 1 million. This is what they are doing. Look at the situation of the Uyghurs. Like when, before the situation of the concentration camp being recognized, not many people even know there is a group of people called Uyghurs. There's so much we need to learn about China, about the tyranny, about the evil, about especially the evil. When I saw April, I realized the live organ harvesting. You probably, I don't know if you learn about this. The live organ harvesting, mass live organ harvesting started from 2000. So it has been lasted for 25 years. What the world can do to stop it.
Sheng, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Luckily, after this, we do have a coffee break as well. So if anybody does have any questions or wants to grab the attention of any of our speakers, we've got a 15-20 minute coffee break after this where you can do so. But last but by certainly no means least, we've heard a bunch today about freedom of the press and media freedom around the world. And because of that reason, we're delighted to be able to have Bill Killorn as one of our speakers. Bill is the Executive Director of Journalists for Human Rights, and he's going to touch on the role of media in defending democracies and countering totalitarianism. So Bill, over to you.